All right, hello everybody. I think we're live. I will check this out real quick to make sure that we're live. And then we can bring in our guest here pretty soon. But let me check real quick just to make sure that I am live with you guys. I'm trying to pull up the video itself. Let me do that and make sure it's paused so I won't be echoing in my own video. It's about to start. And we have an amazing show for you tonight. An amazing show. All right, I am there because I see people in the chat. And I've got to fix this because I have this bar across the top and that's something that needs to be worked on. My live stream thing kind of got changed. Maybe if I sit back a little bit, it'll not cover my head so much. But we got people coming in, so thank you guys. I don't know if Father's Day is planet-wide or our day of Father's Day is just a US thing. But if it is planet-wide and you are on the other side of the planet, then happy Father's Day to you. I hope you guys, or I hope you are having an amazing day. And so on that note, while we're waiting for some more people to get here, I want to let you guys know that in the description, let's see what's there. Where is that? All right, there are links to all kinds of stuff. There's links to our website, links to our Facebook page, link to my personal Facebook page. You're welcome to friend me and things like that. Let's put on some other music in the background. And you'll see my last name is Reynolds. Mara is my beloved wife. So if you read in the comments, thank you, Jeff and Mara, maybe that all clears it up for you because people thank her too because she does the editing. Anyways, there's also links to our other YouTube channels. There are links to our merch store and Discord. And if you want to join Discord, you got to email me personally for the link because there was troublemakers. I used to have it completely open, but troublemakers were there and I had to shut it down because of that. All right, so let's see here. Let me tell you who are our fabulous guests tonight. But actually, one of them's here, and this is going to be a different Saturday night because I'm having two guests at the same time. Something that I normally don't do. But while I'm waiting for my second guest to get here anyways, I'll tell you who's coming up. I recorded a video yesterday with Jean-Charles Moyen, who is another secret space program super soldier. He was abducted as a child and became involved in the secret space program from France. And I think you guys will really enjoy that one. That's that. Tomorrow night, I have a near-death experience from a man that basically died in a car accident. I think you'll enjoy that. Let me see who else is here. What do I have scheduled? I have another one with a UFO book. On Monday, I have to record another NDE and potentially someone else, which I think we haven't solidified the dates yet. And sometimes I'm booked out like a week, maybe almost 2 weeks in advance, and sometimes I'm still filling up the week. So this week is another one of those weeks. Also, in 2 weeks on Saturday, apparently, Jim Morrison of The Doors has had an illegitimate child. He looks quite a bit like him. He sounds just like him if you listen to his music. And we are going to be talking about him. And I think his name is Cliff Morrison, and the author of the book and his music producer. That's who's going to be joining us. All right, well, let me tell you about tonight's guest. We will just get right into it. And we are waiting on Nikki. I think she was having a little trouble, but we'll just go from there. So tonight's guests are Nicky Alan and Dani Henderson. They've both been guests multiple times. Nikki, if you remember, is known as Britain's Best Psychic. For 18 years, she was a police officer and a trained detective in Essex Police. Following medical retirement in 2003. Here they both are. I'm going to bring them both in so I won't keep them waiting. All right, so following medical retirement in 2003 and by public demand, there's Dani. She has achieved a very high profile in the spiritual industry as a full-time psychic medium, spiritual teacher, writer, and angel expert. And then Dani, who's already here, which I really love that necklace. It's very sparkly.
Thank you, darling Jeff.
She was just here a few weeks ago. She's an alien and paranormal experiencer, British broadcaster, and founder of the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection. So we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. It says that Nikki was here, and I think she's trying to join.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Hi, are you here?
Well, there she was.
No, I've got no fucking battery. No, I've got no links.
You're live.
You're live, by
darling.
the way.
Sweet love.
Oh my God, are you joking?
I'm not joking.
No, my darling. We're live, darling.
Shut up.
10,000 people.
Well, you have to
10,000.
forgive them. It's 1 a.m. in England, and they were kind enough to join me this late.
I'm sorry, guys. I've got no link whatsoever. It won't work. My email won't work. Everything's shut down. This happens all the time. I'm going to have to be really unprofessional and be in my bed because I haven't got another charger port for my phone.
Well, everything's...
Darling, do you know that you're on live, my love? You're live. We're live. The world can see you, Nicky Allen. It's the group, Nicky Allen.
Let me get real.
Real and in the moment, darling. We're live. All the audience can see us.
We're all
I'm
here.
so sorry.
You're always traveling. Are you in England? Are you in Ibiza or Spain, Barcelona? Where are you now?
I wish I was in Ibiza. I really do wish I was, but unfortunately I'm not. I completely apologise for the bad language. For the last 15 minutes, the links haven't worked. The email won't produce the link.
Yeah.
I couldn't get in. It kept asking for a password, so I'm here now. Wow. So I'm really sorry, but
that's okay.
Again, because I'm now using my phone, I can't go anywhere because it's a new phone with a new charging port. And the only place I've got a charger is in my bedroom.
Well, that's okay. Well, I was thinking about, if you look at the thumbnail, I had both of your pictures, and I was thinking about titling it Psychic British Babes. But then Dani's not psychic, so I don't know if that would really work.
I would say psycho, to be fair. I would say psycho. I'm going to be really unprofessional. Darren, would you mind bringing me my ring light, please?
I had a psychic experience, I think, while I was about 30 minutes ago. I was home alone, and I thought we have a hardwood, hard floor, and I could hear a woman's voice echoing through the house. And I thought, okay, my wife's just getting home with the kids. I could hear them through the window or something. And I went to look out the window, and nobody was there. And I was like, whoa.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Do you know what, though? The problem is, I think, with the energy I'm attracting at the moment, it's really high level, like angelic energy, ascended master energy. And I kid you not, every single time now I do a podcast interview or do anything, everything goes wrong for the first 10 minutes. I don't know what it's about. I've got no clue, but it happens every time. It's like a shutdown on communication and energy. So weird. It's so weird. And you've just seen me have a meltdown live in America.
We get to see the real you.
Baby.
Sometimes about a few years ago, almost every beginning of a show I used to have problems, and I used to kind of jokingly say maybe there's some like dark entities or something that keeps sabotaging the show. I would tell my wife that because crazy stuff was happening.
It could be, because I don't know if anybody's here has seen my most recent podcast, Soul Space. Basically, a really dark entity that was in our villa in Spain that I couldn't get anywhere near it. I couldn't get it in one space. It was in the ether, it was in the walls, it was in the house, it was in the earth. Oh my, and then there was light. I don't know if that's good or not.
What's going on?
Please.
Light.
During my nightie, I just can't believe this. I didn't even get a chance to get dressed because I've been panicking.
Well, you
Anyway,
know,
this dark entity actually, do you know, normally EVP, electronic voice phenomena,
yes.
do you know it's normally in the background and you have to kind of highlight it? This actually recorded over my words, stopped my transmission in the podcast. I had no clue until it went out, and all the viewers said, "What is that on your podcast?" And that we think it says genius, but it's this dark thing that was in the villa, to the extent where we were there for 3 months. I hated it the first day and demanded to be moved, and they wouldn't let us move, wouldn't give us our money back. So we spent most of the time traveling around Spain. And then when I was in there, I had to invoke Archangel Michael permanently. I was using cleansing permanently, sealing wherever we were permanently. It was crazy. And then the little horrible blah blah blah, it's not worth me pretending I don't swear, because I've just done it.
You know what's amazing is that we've come full circle, because my very first video that we did together about 4 or 5 years ago, I think you were in bed and now you're back in bed. But the original time is because you were sick.
Don't tell him that, darling. Am I best this way or that way?
That way, yeah. You were sideways. Yeah. But when we first started, you were getting over your illness of fibromyalgia or something. And what did you do to finally cure yourself?
I haven't actually cured myself, darling. There we are. Yeah. I haven't actually cured myself. I have just turned my energy around to dealing with it, pacing. I have to say, though, I've incorporated a massive influx of crystal energy around me. I've just got crystals everywhere. I've got this wonderful Native American bogie stone, which is the masculine and the feminine. I'm not joking you. I don't know if it's a placebo, darlings. I don't know if you ever think, am I thinking it's working? I don't care. This little puppy.
Wow.
Right. This little puppy here. I don't know if you,
it looks like a giant. It's a quartz.
I can't apologize enough for this.
No. What is it doing in the water? Or is it holy water?
It's a clear quartz crystal obelisk. And we have them in our shop, in Fifth Dimension Gifts shop, that my partner and I have just started. And this isn't a plug, by the way. I'm just being honest. If you know me, you know that I don't do any BS. I'm literally saying it as it is. This feels like I'm drinking elixir, because what it is, the crystals in the water, the frequency of the crystals is created in the conduit of the water. Oh. So you're drinking the pure frequency of the crystal. Now, incredibly, I've been, up and down, because I was grieving because my dog had just passed, and he passed the day before we went to Spain. Here's my life story. I was born in 1970. I'm joking. And when we came back, I had to face his beds, his food that we'd packed to take him. And it was just hell. And I was just really down. And I thought, I am not going to allow this grief to overwhelm me, because it can create flare-ups. So I've been up and down. And then suddenly, this little darling, it makes me all sparky. I was really concerned, because I was a bit tired earlier on when I messaged darling Dani. And I said, I'm a bit tired. I am buzzing. And it's this, either that, or he's sick of me being tired. He's been dropping some sort of amphetamine in it.
Well, I think it's a brilliant idea. I've never seen that. That's the first time for me that someone's put a crystal inside a water bottle.
I know. And we've got like amethyst. There's amethyst, rose quartz, red jasper, whatever you need to infuse, to use. But I actually stole another one. I've got the amethyst when I meditate. And so he doesn't know about that yet. This is the beauty of opening up a spiritual gift room crystal shop, because I just accidentally wandered into what I called the Darren HQ. And it's like, oh, look what accidentally fell on me. Look, this is what I nicked. He doesn't even know about it. I'm charging it on a selenite plate, right?
Now, is this a brick and mortar shop, or is this an online shop only?
Online shop. All
Beautiful.
Over the world.
Is that an emerald?
That is seraphinite. Sourced from Russia.
Wow.
Right. And that connects you with the seraphim. But the seraphim need to get their butts in gear and make sure that I can get on a live Zoom meeting without saying an F word.
Well, you're here. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's
Look, I
Terrifying.
didn't even get my hair ready, sitting in my bedroom. I just think it's hilarious. Look, Dani looks like $1 million. I knew she would, with all her lovely little planet behind her, looking absolutely gorgeous, like Goldie Hawn. And I'm just not even going to go there anymore. Do you know, everybody says to me, Nicky Allen keeping it real, and I have to at the end of the day, and this is it.
Well, how long have you two
Nikki.
known each other?
Well,
Lifetimes.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, Nikki, you are such a beautiful, radiant light. It's so grounding for anyone out there watching and having to manage themselves and worry about their podcast, their broadcast, their whatever. And what you do is you just smash it all out the park. You're like, here I am. And this is what we need people to really focus on, the reality of the people who are telling the truth, bringing love from their own personal experiences, like the two of you and I, that you and I do in particular, and just bring it and land it, because it takes away anxiety, fear, worry about having a public persona, you know. And as you know, one of my mantras is no one above another. I don't care who you are. I'm not impressed by a single person. I'm impressed by, don't tell me who you are, show me who you are. Where we then, as a human being, because we're so beautifully and massively intelligent beings, and we can feel truth, we can resonate with truth, and when we see someone like you, it's just so lovely, and it just normalizes, and then it lets us remember.
Darling.
True then, Nikki, we have to be so severe in like celebrity whatever. Sit down, be quiet. Nobody cares about celebrity.
I know.
What do you do to help your brothers and your sisters right now? Can you
You're
share your
so
experience?
right. You know, we've both done it, haven't we, Dani? We've both been there in the celebrity bit, and to be quite honest, I didn't sit comfortably with it at all. I think out of all the celebrities I read for, went on the television with, toured with, and all that, there were two people that I thought, one was an A-lister, absolutely gorgeous, Ray Winston, and Melinda Messenger here in the UK, and those two are just so real, it's unbelievable. But going back, I actually ordered, Dani, not like a takeaway where you have number 46, number 39. What happened was, and this is a true story, last May, the end of May, right? I always go to my beach, which I ordered. They taught me how to cosmic order when I was in bed for 5 years, right? So I walk over to my beach, which is like literally 2 minutes that way. And I went onto the beach. I had $250 in my account. I've been working on my YouTube channel for 12 years and it just, nothing was happening. And I'm like, hang on a minute. I need to have a little word, darlings, because what happens is I feel that the angel realms, our guides, ascending masters, galactics, they sometimes forget that we have to live a material world, even though we're obviously enlightened. You know, especially light workers and people like us that are all sitting there. And I said, I'm going to have a little bit of a wake up call. I'm not being rude. So I got Jophael in because I needed to manifest it, right? I got Gabriel in, Ariel, I got the whole lot in. I went, can I just have a little chat with you? The people, right, locally on my beach, I was thinking, oh, that's the nutty one. She talks to things that aren't there on the beach. I don't care. So I said, I'm not being funny. And my first dog had just passed, Mia, right? And I don't know if you know this story, Dani. I don't know if I actually had time to tell you because we're always so busy, darling, aren't we, when we're together? And I said, I've got $250 in my account, or £230, and I can't even get my baby cremated with that without using a credit card. And I said, I'm not being funny. Also, if you want me to reach other people, you need to kind of connect people with me. Right? No, it wasn't last year. It was a year before, wasn't it, Dani? What am I talking about? Because no, it wasn't. It was last year. Oh my goodness. I feel like I've known you forever, darling. And so I said, so you need to kind of start manifesting it. Now, Jeff, you were one that was there that gave me that first lift, weren't you? God bless you. I'll never forget you for that.
Well, you helped me too, so thank you.
No, thank you. And then a week later, I get Alex Ferrari, our friend Alex Ferrari, say, I would like to interview you. I'm like, who, me? Okay. And then amazingly, Dani reaches out and I just went, thank you, angels. This is wonderful. Because all of this beautiful synchronicity of meeting all these wonderful light people created me to able to move forward, to actually get me as ashes. And part of it is in here with
Oh,
my little
wow.
teddy,
That's great.
and get a team to help me to move forward. And before I knew it, I was giving Dani the biggest hug in Florida.
That's
I went
amazing.
from $250 to standing in the sun, hugging Dani, thinking, I can't believe I'm standing here with you, darling, and being part of one of the most awesome conferences I've ever been to and been asked to attend in my life. It is mind-blowing. I can't believe there aren't 100, 2, 3, 400,000 people at these GSIC Galactic Spiritual Informers conferences, right? Because I'm telling you now, they are mind-blowing. They literally have the most incredible people, you know, all that. Oh my God, the medical rebel's going to be there. I've watched these people on Rumble, right? And
Yeah,
I've watched these
you're
people
right.
like Elena Danan, and I'm going, and so when Dani goes, oh, do you fancy coming to do a conference? I'm like, oh God, yeah. Well, I have to obviously balance my energy and pace it. And then when she said, oh, we've got Michael Sala there, we've got Elena Danan, we've got Brad. Oh, so I'm like, whoa, I will walk there on my bare feet over broken glass. It takes me half a year to get there. I will be there. It is just, Dr. Christiane Northrup, you're standing there in front, or sitting there in front of the world leaders of truth of this planet and our ancestry, the galactics, I cannot even express to you how incredible it is. And Dani, how you put it together, darling, I don't know. Obviously, you know, all the different celestial layers up there, put this together, bring the people to you, and then your magical energy just sparkles like a star, and they all just come to you. And I'm not just saying it because we're going to be there, and you know, because it is absolutely mind-blowing. I can't thank you enough, because that was my next rebirth, that was my next awakening. Because no matter how many years you do this, and I've been born into it, and so is Dani, no matter how many years, you're always learning, you're always rebirthing some concept of your soul energy, your immortal soul. And suddenly the Atlantean part of me was rebirthed. Elena Danan showed a symbol on her first slide on her presentation, and it was a symbol my dad had showed me 10 years before and said, that's the next sign of your further awakening, like an upgrade. Wow. I saw it and I was like that. Didn't look very professional, like, oh yes, I'm used to this. I sat there, I looked at Dara and my partner, I'm like, that's the symbol I've told you about. It's the triangle with the circle around the top. And from then on, a whole new world of consciousness and this whole new layer of vibration and understanding and channeling. And, you know, it's a hard word. I don't really like channeling, but suddenly all this knowledge is being brought to me, and projections and prophecy of what's happening on the earth to humankind. And it's just mind blowing. It's all down to GSIC. And I can't believe I'm going again. Even now, I'm in my 90s thinking Dani's going to fire me. She's going to fire me. I said the F word about 3 times because I was so upset that I was letting you all down and all the people. But
you know, we've always talked about your psychic past, but have you ever had any past that involves UFOs or ETs?
Do you want to go first, Dani?
No, he's asking you, Nikki.
I'm asking you,
Oh,
darling.
Me? Oh, sorry, darlings. Sorry, darlings. All I remember is, and I know this for real because it's great to have Darren. Well, it's not great for him, God love him, because he's like, where's she off to next? Because I was kicking and fighting before we went to GSIC last year. I was kicking and fighting, and he was like getting over to the side of the bed, right? And then he goes, Nikki, and then I went, what? And I got up, and I felt like I was holding like a staff, or like it was like a trident-y type thing. And I said to him, I don't remember any of it. I said, I'm trying to fight in the colonies. Stand back. And I remember me being with like different beings and fighting in the colonies. And I was leading our colony because someone was trying to, you know, take ours. There were mermaid type people. There's all sorts of different beings. And there was these beautiful white ash blondes people that were just always resonated with me, which again, when I saw the slides with Elena, I'm like, I know these people. And suddenly all my dreams come back. Because Darren used to say to me, who were you fighting last night again? And I've been dreaming of this since I was a child. So I knew that there was something there, but that unlocked it. Because when I was watching her and listening to the vibration of her energy, and when the fril crystal came out with Dan
what
Willis.
crystal?
Oh, Dani can tell you about that.
What
The
is
fril
that?
crystal. I literally, everything opened up. So I know I've had an Atlantean without an absolute doubt, but ancient Atlantis, which was under the water. And obviously now lots of people are connected with Andromeda and the Orion system, but I'm not that au fait with it. All I know is I've had that particular one. And as a teenager, I've definitely gone to other planets. I've connected telepathically with other beings. But as far as I am with that, my input into our conference coming up and my input into it all is on the celestial layers of like angel realms, ascended masters, spirit world. But I do know without any doubt in my mind that I have definitely got part starseed where I have had incarnations on other planets. But I feel that perhaps my incarnation this time round is more prolifically around angelic work, which my dad predicted 10 years ago. He said, this is what you're going to be doing. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I won't be working on a deep acknowledgement of the conscious of the universe and the source. I'll just be proving the afterlife, which I thought I was here to do. Oh no, how they laughed.
And by the way, are you guys up for taking questions from the audience?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
All right, so if you
Right.
guys have questions, type them in all caps. That way it's easier for me to spot the question from the just normal chat that's going on. Now, what was that crystal you were talking about? The
Fril.
The
So the
fril?
beautiful man, fril. I'll explain it very quickly, but succinctly. So it's PHRYLL. It is not the Vril Society, so please don't confuse it. Fril, PH, as in the sound of F, the phonetic sound of F, Fril energy. So Dan Willis is a long-term Navy top whistleblower. In the 1970s, he's in the ocean, and in the days of Morse code, dit, dit, dot, dot, dit, dit, dot, dot, and he sees and witnesses a giant UFO craft come out of the ocean because they are airbound, they are under the water, they are everywhere. The more that we can accept that there is much more to this world than we know, it helps us greatly just to have an open mind, because we're at the time of truth, the time of full disclosure, the time of non-censorship, except online. We can't always say everything because we get shut down. However, Dan Willis was witness to this huge craft, reported it, and then went on some years later to what was called the New York Press Club in 2001. Remarkably, he took the place of another great speaker called David Adair. David Adair has invented things like, with his team, the laptop, for a portable computer to go into the rockets through NASA that were going off into space. David Adair, he's called the Rocket Man. Anyone watching, if you want to know who that amazing, incredible man is, one of the greatest inventors of all time on our planet Earth in this generation that we're in the last 150 years, go to Dr. Michael Sala's channel on YouTube. Dr. Sala, S-A-L-L-A. There are 4 episodes of the lovely David Adair sitting and sharing information. He's so funny. He's so brilliant. He's so bright. For whatever reason, Dan Willis got to take his place on this press club event. There were, I don't know, 500 people bearing witness to their UFO, science, hidden government information, hidden technology information that was all coming out at this press club. And it was headed by Dr. Stephen Greer at that time. Since then, Dan Willis, before and after, has been a proponent of hidden technology on our planet. Now, what happens in the world out there, it's called catch and kill. Now, I'm a qualified broadcast journalist. Who cares? I mean, as long as you've got a big gob and a bit of a personality, anyone can get on YouTube, right? But, yeah, but what Dan did over the time is report into the field on technological advances that would have helped humanity in terms of medicine, healthcare, well-being. We can't say all the words, of course, because of the censorship, but he has not stopped. Now, in the last few years, he's been working with literal Pleiadians, literal. And at this point, if anybody in the universe or the audience goes, that's all right, it's all right. People are still trying to understand and download. And I'm not being patronizing. I'm so not. I so want everyone to know the full true history of their planet, the full disclosure. You can still love Jesus or any God that you're connected to, but open your mind, guys, because you are missing out. Dan Willis has brought to our planet, and we revealed it for the first time, a first world disclosure event at GISIC, Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection, the conference.
Oh,
Nikki and I.
connection. Sorry, I said conference. I keep doing that. Sorry. Connection. Menopause.
And he stood on stage and he showed us this. It was a Vogel crystal from Marcel Vogel, again, a man who worked for IBM many years ago, created a beautiful Vogel, a certain way of cutting a crystal called the Vogel crystal, and it has certain points on it. And then Dan Willis wrapped that in silver and copper, and then it emanates a certain frequency, and that frequency is called fril. At some point, we will all be using fril energy to power up our homes. Again, when we understand the true history of our planet and the things that have been held from us, we look at Edison, stick it up your ass, Edison. Because of Edison and JP Morgan, the funding that Tesla at the time had was corrupted. We hear about AC/DC, alternate current, and direct current. Edison wanted to build power stations in each town across America, let's say, the big wires, the big pylons that we see today. Some of them look like horned beasts, to keep into the psychological field of humans what the darker side of humanity likes to, put in. The control systems that built up. Anyway, very quickly, with the energy that Edison corrupted, it meant that we still to this day pay electric bills. We never should have paid electricity is a free energy. We knew how to harness it many years ago. To cut to the chase, Dan Willis has brought forth into the field fril energy. It has so many benefits to humanity. It's in the field now, it's coming out. And this year, he's showing on stage again more advancements of it, but also the audience will be able to see it, touch it, and feel the energy. And it's a tiny little crystal. It is absolutely unbelievable. We also have other world first technologies coming out at Galactic Spiritual Informers. And not to even mention the lineup of the speakers there. It's just so incredible. Last year when Nicky Alan came on stage, we gave her an evening and she took us on a spiritual journey for those that are in the angelic connection, which I feel all of us pass through and live with. It's really connected to God, to love, to spirit, to the purity of what we are from a soul level and a heart level. And Nikki took us to a beautiful meditative guided state where those of us that lost people we love, lost animals that we love, she took us to a point where we were in a realm of heaven, a heavenly frequency, where we were able to connect directly to our beloveds. Right, Nikki?
Absolutely. And I know the purpose of why you felt that you needed me there, because I've got to admit, right, I'm keeping it totally real. I thought, I don't know about this, because the problem is when you're someone looking in on this and you're not quite sure of it, you just think conspiracy theorists, weirdy people that wear, tin foil over their head and they've got things coming through the telly, right? So there's a part of you that does actually think that. But when you sit and see the reality of this, I felt, what am I doing here? Right? What am I doing here? But I know what I'm doing as part of this truth thing now, because what's happening is peers, society, religion, and every single thing that's controlling us at the moment tells us that people like us, particularly, us mediums, Dani, they say to us, oh, they're the tree huggers. We'll leave them in, the back pages of the 0898 numbers, the psychic lines, because they're rubbish. They're absolutely scared stiff of us showing that we are all connected to source, and that if we not listen or not adhere to what religion says, what society says, what your peers say, what your parents say, that are either old school or religious, we actually can open up and gain such power and knowledge that they do not want us to know that. So they have always always witch hunted from, you know, year dot. They've said we're bad, we're evil, you know, and we should be not listened to. And they thought they'd add a little bit in the Bible about it as well, just to make sure that we couldn't gain our power. And this is the thing, because the pandemic was the most beautiful part of this, because they're all trying to control us and pen us in and give us all this poison. And the wonderful part is it turned the culture of nearly every single person on the planet to watching online.
Mm-hmm.
And we use that, the angelic realms, you know, the galactics, they knew this would happen. And so now I've never seen such a rise in channels like yours. If you look, we are busting through the scenes now. We used to be in the backdrops, you know, as long as we keep it bit safe, because if we go too far into the truth, we'll be shut down, and then we're jumping over to Rumble, aren't we, at the end of the day? But with this truth that we're bringing out, more people are being exposed to it more. But I've never seen such a jump in my channel. You know, hundreds every day are joining, and this is happening to all of these beautiful channels, you know, light workers, you know, people working with the galactics, people trying to show you homeopathy, holistic approaches, rather than, you know, funding the big pharma pockets. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch. It's absolutely wonderful. And look at us now. Now, how many thousands are now sitting here watching us? 10 years ago, that wouldn't be happening. And I just realised, you know, I got so frustrated after my road accident. I thought, I can't tour anymore. I was just about to tour Australia and America. And I thought, this is the end of my work. But it isn't. It was the beginning, because now nobody wants to go into a hall or a theatre. You know, it might do if they, you know, if they want to treat. But most people want to sit in the comfort of their own home and watch. And so we are saying, thank you very much. Come and listen to what we've got to say, because we actually are bringing you the truth. And the beauty of it is when you listen to what people said 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it has all come true. And people are waking up and realizing, hang on a minute, these people have got something to say here, you know. And when you go to something like GSIC, there's a part of you that thinks, are they just the people that are a bit paranoid and have got the tinfoil bits around their head? You know, like Independence Day, the wonderful pilot who ends up the hero.
Right.
And everybody looks at him like the weirdo. But you know what? It's all coming out. Look at all the stuff that's happened on the TV with them admitting that there has been alien species that they've encountered. It's all, the truth is slowly coming out, and we are being, well, again, this was predicted to me 9-10 years ago when I had this huge download about what was to come. Half of it I didn't really believe, but that was none of my business to believe or not. My ego came out the way, and then I thought, right, I'm going to ride it all out. And I rode it all out, and most of it's come to pass. You know, we're coming at the age of Aquarius, the connections with higher consciousness, us raising very quickly to fifth dimensional consciousness, being more aware, being awake. And it's just a beautiful movement that's taking place. And the thing is that we have to know at the moment that that truth that I'm trying to bring to GSIC and trying to bring to the world now, every single day that I go online, through my videos, whichever way I can, my books, is to say, stop listening to religion. Stop thinking that it's somebody special that can only connect up. You all have the part of the universe within you. You all have that ability to just, all you got to do is open up. And then you start seeing the truth, you start seeing the reality. And, you know, from the angelic realms, and I can't believe I'm saying this, because I never for a million years thought I'd be communicating with angels. It's just no way on this earth. But we're very clever, because what they've done is, on top of their messages they want to bring through portal mediums, which was told to me, there's all these portal mediums down here, right? The ones that are now taking the range. You've got the people that are just doing readings, which isn't adjust, it's perfect. That's what energy they're in. Suddenly you've got these mediums that are being given information from higher, deeper sources. And what they're doing, it's very clever, because when they bring the messages down, just to bring validity to the messages to humankind, they've started doing prophecy. So, for instance, if I do a sitting, which is called Channeling Heaven, and I just go up and I think, right, whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to repeat it to you as I experience it. It's basically me just going into meditation, and rather than me noting it in my soul journal, I record it, which they've told me to do. Push the button, they say, and then I just send it out to the people. So that, for instance, a little while ago, they were saying about there's going to be assassination coming up in the next few days. And then we had the attempted assassination of I think it was Slovakian president. And then we had the Iranian president have an accident in a helicopter. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, then, you know, and then they'll predict, they said, where was the other one? Oh my goodness! They said, well, we've got Seraphim on standby, and because they deal with natural disasters. Because I'm doing a lot of work with Archangel Ariel, who's obviously one of the guardians of the planet, the animal kingdom, weather disasters, and she loves telling me what's happening next. So she says, going to be a huge tornado ripping through, and forgive me, US citizens. I thought she was saying Arkansas, and I thought, I've never heard of that. I said, you mean Kansas? She said Arkansas, and she's writing it out, right? And it sounds really weird, an angel, but the word, and it's Arkansas, and I thought, what? And so I had to Google it after I did the challenge. I felt so embarrassed because it's Arkansas.
Yeah.
And then literally, I think it was 2 days later, this tornado ripped through there and all of the surrounding areas. And it's not, we can't do anything to change it at the moment. Mother Gaia's kicking back, Archangel Ariel's kicking back. It's all part of the awareness to say, you're killing the planet. Okay, and we're reviving it. Join us to revive it. And so this is changing the consciousness, and this is the best time to ever be on the planet, because the shift of consciousness and all the beauty, we're aware of this dark energy and we're being open to it, and we're saying no more. And so this is a beautiful journey we're going through. You know, you have so many people, and you'll know about this, Jeff, talking about the grand reset, you know, the new world, the new order, And the problem is with that is a lot of the dark people are trying to scare people. It's not. We're just literally digging out the roots of what needs to be exterminated to bring the equilibrium back. And so we are kicking ass. Again, I said this on stage, didn't I, last time, Dani? It sounds rubbish, English, saying kicking ass. Kick ass sounds so much better. We're kicking ass, but we are. And they don't like it. So they're kicking back and trying to say, oh, we've got war here. Everything's really bad. And oh, we might get another virus come through. And oh, this might happen and that might happen. No, it's not, love. Nice try. Because what you get is when there is a creature cornered, it gets nasty and it kicks back, and it will try anything to try and convince people and scare them, right? And so basically a dog barks when they're scared, lions stand proud, and that's what we do. We're the lions saying, really? Lovely, okay, then no worries, you know. And I just love what is happening with the planet, and I love watching people who email me, who watch the channels, who watch all you lovely guys suddenly go, I'm seeing synchronicity, I'm seeing angel numbers, I'm seeing this happened yesterday. And even today, a woman emailed me from she's somewhere in America. Oh my goodness, I can't remember where it is now. And I especially, Lorraine, my assistant, just sent it to me, goes, oh, you've got to see this. And she literally had just watched one of my videos. And so I keep saying to people, you do not realize how powerful you are. You can send love, you can send intent anywhere you want. You are a physical part of the universe. You've got the universe within you. You can connect in and create whatever you want. So she tried it, and she just went in the house. She said, I'm praying to Archangel Ariel that you please bring peace, love to animals. I would love to help if you can inspire me to help the planet. Just please give me a sign to let me know you've heard this. I'll do everything I can to assist you. She goes out the front door and a car passes her with Ariel written on the back. She took a photo of it. Thank goodness she had a phone. And she said to me, goes, I can't believe it. I said, why can't you believe it? We can all do it. And so she just prayed to Archangel Ariel. Literally seconds later, a car goes past with her name on the back, Ariel. So it's just beautiful to see people go, wow, because it shouldn't be wow. It should be completely normal. And other, galactic, other planets, and Daniel, back me up on this. the telepathy, the consciousness, the higher realms of how they actually exist and communicate, we are so far behind. We are literally the old planet of, you know, I don't know, it's just really, I don't know, low form planet. I don't know what you want to call it. And they just watch and they guard us and they assist us, don't they? And
Nikki,
go
we're in
on.
third density. You know, the big reveal is that every single human, every single person watching right now, for example, is unbelievably, incredibly beautiful and special and worthy. And a lot of people
Yes.
are so covered up with the wounding and the programming and their entire life, trauma, drama, pain, hurt. So what do they do when they see people like us and we go, meh, 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 spiritual aliens? You know, they're holding on to a safety mechanism, which might be religion, let's say. And religion can be
Yes.
so beautiful and so loving. Like, I have a beautiful relationship with Jesus, right? That's my own thing. But I'm not a Christian. I don't believe I need to connect and go to church every week or I'll go to hell. Balls doesn't suit me because of what I've seen in the spirit realm. I've seen the dark. I've seen the angelics. I've seen the galactics, the real ones. And people go, oh, no, if you're a Christian, but no, that means that, you know, angels and demons and aliens are the same. No, they're bloody well not. And all that tells me is that people haven't seen them. But what can they do? Then they go back to what they were taught. They go back to what they know. They go back to what they believe. And it's all right. But it's not
I know.
helping them.
You're absolutely right, because the thing is that, you know, I never invoke anything at all to prove what I'm doing. I'm just here. You take it or leave it. If you want to bring comfort and a better incarnation this time round, listen to me. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. And so just dropping back to this podcast that's just gone boom, because this blinking thing in the house, whatever it was everywhere. I couldn't grab a hold of it. And it's speaking across, as I said, my podcast. So I put it out there. And it's only a minority, though. It's only a minority that have gone, this is evil. You've got to take it off. It's infiltrating us. It's infiltrating us. It's not. It's a recording of an energy. We've got to accept the darkness to see the light. And I knew it was there. And then we were totally protected and we got out, because I wasn't going to spend my time in Spain trying to find someone to assist me to get rid of whatever it was. It was all to do with the earth anyway. It was what we was built on the place. All the plants were dead. You know, you tried to grow anything. I had plants in the house, they died within 3 days. And so I knew what was going on. There were things exploding. We had 5 different fridge freezers. It's all the typical signs of a negative energy. But I wouldn't let it come near us. And my poor sort of mother-in-law was really frightened, especially with the banging. I said, oh, the window's just open. And I used to go up there and go, just off now. I'm not having it. And then it would stop for a little while, then carry on. And it was all this. And so all these people go, oh my God, oh, it's a really scary demon. I'm listening to it and I'm going to get possessed. You're like, oh my goodness, this again is, yes, it's a negative energy, but it's weak. We are stronger. And people say, I bet you were really scared. I said, no, I wasn't. I was bloody angry. We paid bloody loads to stay in the place. And it was full of this dark energy. No. And so people are scared, they're fearful of it. Oh, you don't know who you're dealing with, you don't know who you're invoking. Oh, it's evil. And then you get, obviously you do get the Christians and people attack us. I've been firebombed and threatened and God knows what, but they'll say, oh, you don't know what you're delving with. Well, yeah, I do, because I identify themselves and actually give proof of who they are and actually predict wonderful things, and they bring comfort to humankind. So no, I don't want your doctrined rubbish that you're telling people. And I nearly got arrested, right, which is funny because I'm a retired police officer. I had to pull me back. I was like a rabid dog, right? Because there was this group of people, right? And they were standing there, and he come up to me. I thought, right, let's see what you got to say. And he said, have you found Jesus? I said, no, but I found my keys the other day, which was handy because I couldn't find them for like an afternoon. He goes, no, if you don't find Jesus and you don't relinquish yourself of your sins, you're going to hell. I went, really? That's what you're telling people? That if they don't follow God and your religion, that you're going to hell? Yeah. You can imagine, I absolutely let rip. And this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to tell people this. But the other beautiful thing is, and I have to say, again, a very high proportion of emails I get from people saying, I'm breaking free from my religion. I realise that love, compassion, opening my energy, connecting with nature, looking at the truth of our planet and my own truth, I feel that I'm liberated. And lots of them then say my family have blackballed me. Great, that's absolutely fine. Perhaps that was your soul contract. Leave them be then. Let them get on with it. You know, and I'm seeing it. I don't know if you've noticed this, Dani, but people are really like, and Jeff, you all know from all the wonderful people you interview, but it just seems like there's a mass scale of waking up. And I knew it was coming. They told me in this, you know, download I had 9 or 10 years ago, which has created my next book, Earthwalkers, which is all these predictions of what's going on. But it's all just, you know, one of the things that happened when I was in bed for 5 years, when I had my road accident, one of the things, apart from the F words, which were quite gratuitous and very regular, when I was laying in bed, the prognosis was, as you know, I was never going to walk again. I was never going to get out again, and blah, 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 blah. Long story, angels and loads of visitors come in and got me back to where I am, the most glorious place I've ever been in my whole life, mentally, spiritually, and not so much physically, but who cares about that? And one of the things my guide Juliana said to me was, and I went and found him, by the way, he was 1452 Trastevere, Rome, and apparently I was there as well. So I went and found him and where I was and me in the previous life in 1452, but that's for another day. And he said to me, darling, do you not understand, my child, he said, my child, he said, Nicola, do you not understand that you are standing here? And I look, and he created this vision in my third eye where I was in this bramble thick forest full of thorns, and there was like a sparkling crystalline path. He said, you're supposed to be over there. He said, your ego and what's happened in your life and how you've allowed certain people in your life has sent you off of your divine path. So we need to rest you. We need to stop you in your tracks. We need to strip you bare, and we need to get you back on that path. He said, the only problem is you're going to have to walk back through the brambles, back from where you've walked to get back there. And so every time someone says to me, why is all this bad stuff happening on the planet? I said, it's not. I said, we've gone so far off where we're supposed to be on our trajectory that we now have to walk back through the mess to get there. And then once we're there, it's great. So during the digging up and eradicating and us getting through the mess, it's going to be the most sublime place to be. It's going to be such a beautiful, tranquil, wonderfully compassionate and loving planet. Yes, we'll still have the darkness. Yes, we'll still have the bad energies going on, but we can kick him to the curb. Thank you very much for coming, but off you pop. So it's just really exciting at the moment, you know, and to see the reality of it and to watch people suddenly go, wow, there really is something in this. Yeah. And guess what? You've all got it, but you've been told you haven't. You know, and so many people say, oh, I wish I could be like you. I wish I could connect to the angel. You can. And I'm going to be doing something completely different this year, which will make people go, oh, my goodness. I don't want to say too much because I want to do a lovely surprise. But again, it was downloaded to me. And another story that I told Dani, when I was in Spain, I was sitting there and I was trying out these new headphones I'd got, right? And I put earphones, so I put them in, and then suddenly I jumped because this music came on, right? And it was Moby in my heart. And it just, I suddenly started crying. And I'm like, I felt so happy, but I don't know, so emotional. And I got up and I walked up and down the beach, and then I was in the water. And I was listening and listening. I must have listened to it about 75 times. And I downloaded what was going to happen. And they said, this is what you're going to walk onto. This is the vibration of how you're going to be at Denver. I went, okay, then. So anyway, I couldn't stop listening to it the whole time. When I got back from Spain, and then I think it was the second or third day, and I thought, I need this music. It really gives me some sort of vibration. I absolutely adore it. And when I looked, I didn't even have it on my playlist on my phone. It didn't exist. It wasn't even on my phone. And so I'm like, that's incredible. So I listened to a song that wasn't on any of my playlists, wasn't on my phone, wasn't in my music library, for hours and hours in Spain, while they created what they wanted me to present to humankind at Denver. And they said, and this is what you're going to be doing. This is where you're going to take them. This is what you're going to tell them about. I went, okay, then. So I came back about 3 hours later, and Darren's like, all right. I went, oh my God. And he goes like, when you stop crying, you can tell me what's happened. And he said, but I was getting a bit worried because you were just marching up and down. Then you were standing there like a nutter in the pond. Think she's going to drop her phone. She's in the water. She's going to drop her phone. And I've just had the most incredible, insane connection with the angelic realms, telling me what I need to deliver to the humans. I call them the humans, isn't it awful? To the humans in Denver, and it's just absolutely mind blowing. He went, wow. It just goes like, and he sees it all the time. You see, he sees it, and then he saw the darkness in the villa as well. And it's lovely to see someone that was. I remember when I first met him, and this is very much like what we're doing when we're waking people up, isn't it, Dani? He used to say to me, not being funny, I don't really, I totally respect what you do, but don't expect me to get involved with it because it's not really for me. And now it's like, oh, guess what? Teddy woke me up. I heard his paws tapping on the window, and I thought I'd go and let him in, and then I realised he passed. Wow, the TV's told itself, and he's so excited by it. And that's what we should be feeling, not fear and excitement, that we're reaching this wonderful level of consciousness where we can all plug ourselves in and get divine guidance, divine inspiration, divine ways of creating love, peace, equality, humanity, humility, whatever gorgeous words you could possibly amass to describe the beauty that we're bringing to the planet is what they're doing. And it's just incredible. And then you find when you go to, like, especially with GSIC, you listen to Elena and Michael and all these wonderful people, that they're actually communicating with the Galactics. The Galactics communicating back, and they're doing these protection, and they're doing these like wonderful, protective elements, war, and dealing with negative energies. And they're just saying, yeah, we've done that, but nobody knows about that. It's all this wonderful, beautiful, invisible wars going on to protect our planet. And people think that belongs in Star Trek. But when you start watching, like Dan Willis, he's not a tin hat wearer from Independence Day. He was a naval officer. All these people like Christiane Northrup and the wonderful medical rebel. Do you know, it's awful. I can't remember her name, Dani, because I just watch her and I love her so much.
Dr. Lee Merritt.
Yes.
That's it, Lee Merritt. Right, and I can't believe, oh my God, I can't wait to meet her. But it's just, they're all credible people. And this is what was told of me years ago, is that we are going to start now infiltrating and inspiring people with credit. People that ordinarily would be the most highly esteemed doctors, scholars, scientists, and we are going to start bringing them the messages from the divine. And so people will wake up and go, hang on a minute. They're not wearing tinfoil hats, sitting in front of the telly, worrying about the CIA listening to them. These are credible people that were highly esteemed doctors or whatever, and it's happening. They told me this years ago it would happen. And so I just absolutely am. And I think that's what this new energy is as well. It's just this overwhelming feeling of we're smashing the pants off it. And there should be no fear. We should be sending love where it needs to go, not anger. And this is another thing, where all of the wars are happening, it doesn't matter what the leaders are doing, because there's, some bad leaders you think are real baddies, but they're actually not. They're exposing what needs to be exposed. And that's all I'm going to say. So I don't want to get into political stuff because everybody gets all like emotional, right? But at the end of the day, it's like the president, all of that kind of stuff. We can all have our political views, but everything is as it should be, and everything is happening as it should be. Okay, and the right people are being placed, and it's all like chess pieces, and they're all being put in where they need to be. And in the process of that, there are people that are growing up, that are awake, that are completely aware, 5D ascended, if you like, or they've got spiritual parents. They're being told they're free to know the truth, and these will be our future leaders. So a lot of things are going to be eradicated. The AI, that's not going to be great for a little while. I don't know if you've had any information about this, darling Dani, but yeah, it's going to be manipulated for a little while, but then it's going to be wonderful. But I can see it going, and then it'll be used for more beneficial purposes. But I think it's going to be abused to begin with. What do you think of that, AI, guys?
Been abused, definitely, in many, but it's also, there's an element that is so good for the advancement of humanity. But I want to go back a step to something you said about physical evidence, which is something I am absolutely passionate about. And that's what Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection is about. The people that we bring together have physical evidence, verified, proven, witness. They're not just people that have a great story, because everybody has a great story. Everyone has something that matters. Everyone's story is worthy. But our role at GISIC is to bring and line up the people, the scholars, the academics with the proven history, medical, science, galactic heritage, things that have been taken from us. When we got together and we've said, no more, not on our watch, no. Now, going back to you, when you put that last podcast out, and there was clearly a disembodied voice, and it sounded like it said genius, and again, the low auditory resonance of a darker, lower entity, which does exist. There are different levels, different planes on the planet that we're on. We're a third density species. We are not stupid. We are royalty. Every one of us is a magnificent, beautiful. The machinery that we own, this beautiful body, has incredible technology. But the powers, the dark ones that try to systemize and who are failing, it's like a dog with diarrhea running and shitting and skidding everywhere. That is how I see the dark and the deep state. Up yours. And people come at me because I'm so outspoken. Well, fine. I don't care. Kiss my ass and watch it walk away, because we haven't got time anymore. If we can't stand in our strength, be loving, be honest. Like we cannot care what people think of us. If we care what someone thinks, then we are their prisoner. We are literally their emotional prisoner. I'm no one's prisoner. Neither's Nicky Allen. That's another reason why she and I are on that stage at GISIC this year. We are done. Our love for humanity, our love for truth drives us more than anything else. And the thing is, Jeff, as you know, like when you come out like this on all the different levels and different scales, the NDEs, Jeff, I just want to honor you for a minute, mate.
Thank you.
I met you when I was living in Costa Rica 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago we met. And you had like, I think 50,000, which is huge, huge. You have grown exponentially in the last 2 years. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you. And you are, and to all you out there, that man, where is he? I don't know which I'm pointing there. This man, Jeff, truly has a beautiful, kind, loving heart. He really cares about humanity. And he allows people, even if they are the biggest Billy bullshitters, he allows people to come on and speak and gift a story into the field. Because even if that story is a little bit, embellished sometimes, maybe not, just some people, we're humans, he allows it because something in this man's soul knows that maybe someone saying something to some of you out there will trigger something in you for your healing, for your awakening. And people have been seeing them reaming you lately, saying, why are you talking about galactics? Why wouldn't he? He's the most perfect person. He started out with near-death experiences and all of you came. And now he's bravely branching out as he should. Do not put Jeff in a box. The man is unboxful.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
Seriously,
Now,
even your voice is
thank
so
you,
soothing.
thank you.
Sorry, carry on, Dani. Go on, darling.
No, you're right. The tones, Jeff said, we talk about tones, we talk about tonality in people. Jeff has a beautiful, loving resonance, and people hear it. People feel safe with him. And Jeff, congratulations. We love you. We adore you. And we're so grateful to be back on your channel, but also just to give you so much love too, because you really are all that in a bag of chips.
Well, thank you both so
literally
much.
did jumpstart me, Jeff. Seriously. You did jumpstart me. And then there is never, ever a bad word. Ever. Well, there shouldn't be anyway. Never. Everybody loves you. You just got such a beautiful, tranquil, easy energy. And that's what people that do your vocation, not going to say job, your calling is to just be there and just resonate with the energy and amplify it while these people then go and say what they need to say. And that's what you need to be. No ego. You just allow whatever to come in and do its thing. And you're right. People, they always kick off about things they're scared about, aren't they? And they need to actually look within to find out why they are triggered and why they react that way. It's like this stupid woman, and yeah, I am going to say it. And I did roll my eyes up because I'm very nice on my channel, right? But don't put this evil on. It's infiltrating everybody that listens to it. Shut up. For goodness sake. It's a recording. You want reality, right? It's okay saying all this nice, pretty, fluffy stuff. The reality is there is light and dark. There's yin and yang. So what if he come and tried to talk on the transmission? You do your best, love, because you didn't come near any of us, whatever it was. I say he, but it was too scared to even solidify itself. So come on then, let's have a chat. Oh no, it wouldn't do that. No, it just was in the ether, in the walls, in the floors, and it's like, oh, whatever, go and do one then. Just, you know, there's a couple of times where the energy come towards us, like, whatever, just off your pop, not in my watch, you know, it's not happening. Get away from us and just fuck off somewhere else, right? We don't need you here. And and this is the problem. People with fear, or oh no, everything's bad, or what is it gonna do? No, it's gonna, you know, influence you. Yes, I did get tired. Yes, I was getting angry, but it didn't help because of menopause. Second time I mentioned it, menopause. And so, and then I thought, oh my God, you know, get a bit angry here. And so we just pop off and have a week somewhere else and just stay out of it. But, you know, and I always remember my granddad, who was the most incredible medium. He was the last one that dropped the line of the seventh sons going back hundreds of years in our bloodline, right? And he always said to me, after I saw my dad pass, sorry, I didn't see him pass. He passed in a road accident when I was 9. And then I saw him 2 days later and he manifested in a car saying, I'm okay, Nikki, don't worry. So I've run back to the house and my granddad pulled me aside and said, it's time I told you, look, you're going to see angels, you're going to see people that have passed over. Please don't be scared. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, the only thing that you need to be afraid of in this life is the living. He said, don't ever show fear, ever. And so I never have. I say it on my channel, fluff instead of the F words. I just tell them to fluff off. That's what I say to people. But only if I'm walking into it. We don't attract it. We don't delve into unknown things. It's if we accidentally end up walking in where they're at, or where the vortex is, wherever the energy is, you know. And so you're just like, oh, whatever, do your best. Oh, you're going to make light bulbs smash and you're going to break electrical things. Yeah, good effort. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's just laughable. And so many people, God bless them, though, emailed in a message saying, oh, I bet you were so scared. No. Why would I be scared? If anything, I was bloody angry because I'm like, I can't believe this. Of all the places we picked, we ended up here. But perhaps I was supposed to do something about it. But no, we were there to rest, recuperate. We were entering a new era of our lives with Darren changing, creating fifth dimension, me coming on this big journey that again was created by used to. Without used to, I wouldn't be sitting here at all. And yeah, I didn't want to be mucking around trying to find someone to back me up to get rid of it. It'll have to stay there. If it was in England and it was travelable, I would have gone and dealt with it. But it's in Spain and it's done, and that was it. So it's done. But yeah, it was clever. Clever
Nikki,
talking over me, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, I really believe that the physical evidence. So again, what the conference is about, Galactic Spiritual Informers, is about physical evidence. So you were meant to go there. Sorry that you were supported by it, but you brought physical evidence that other people heard as well. And this is what we need. We need proof. And the thing is, when people understand the land that we live on this planet is billions of years old, you cannot trust what the historians have told you, you know, or geologically, we've got mapping of lava and volcanoes and floods. And yes, fantastic, brilliant. Not negating that, negating some of the people that say that you, for example, live in a brand new house and there's an interruption, there's some kind of spiritual interruption there. What is that? How about it's on the land? You know, and we don't always think about that. It's on the land. Now, other things, as you and I have talked about, Nikki, many times, I will say, Jeff, to all of your audience of any spiritual understanding or even minimal interest, the most dangerous thing a human can do is touch a bloody Ouija board, in my opinion, and not know. If you can't see what you're conjuring in, what you're opening a portal to, do not touch it. I've had to deal with people, so many different people, as a spiritual person, as a therapist, who have been taken over, had attachments from dark entities. And some people are so cocky, oh, it's fine, it's nothing. No, it really is something. So if I have an opportunity to help some beautiful people that are on a spiritual journey, please do not do a Ouija.
Why do they
Do you
still
remember
sell
when they
that
were in
thing?
Toys R Us?
And why do they still sell that toy?
Because they're trying to take
Because
over
nobody
children.
believes it
They're
works.
trying to take over the children. They're infiltrating at every level. That's why, Jeff. It's really serious. That's why.
I've used communication balls. I've used them in paranormal investigations, but I view a communication board or a Ouija board like a gun. In the hands of a marksman, I can use it, know exactly what's coming in, what's going out. I know how to control it. Never had a problem, apart from I'm going to say about this, it was so funny, but oh my, I created absolute hell on earth, literally. So I was obsessed with it. We used to like do bloody seances in the changing rooms at school and all sorts of things. And then my friend said, oh, let's go round to my garage. Like there's an integrated garage that went into the house. So I created, it was just like tumblers and letters. Don't worry, I said, I'm protected because I have loads of, well, it's not, you don't have to protect yourself, but I was giving it all. Don't worry, my granddad's really strong. He's like Gandalf. And my mum's psychic, and so is my dad, and so are my family. So it's totally fine. I know exactly what will come in and what will come out. So we ended up with this thing pretending to be the girl's nan of the house. And then it turned really nasty and started swearing and threatening us. And in the end, I said, don't take your finger off it. They all started pooing their pants, took a finger off, and it flew across the table and smashed up the wall. So 3 weeks later, after they had 3 priests there with doors and windows banging, and like my mum, when I walked back home, she goes, you stupid cow, what have you done? She knew straight away that I'd created a problem. I'd opened something up. And so I was like, whoa, I won't do that again. But as I say, with the gun, if it's in the hand of a complete idiot or someone that's drunk or doesn't know what they're doing, it's the most dangerous thing on the planet. If it's with a trained marksman who knows exactly the power of it, how to use it, then it's okay. I used to use them a lot, I'm going to admit that, but I knew exactly how to control it. But these people, the amount of times even in my last book, The Rise and Fall, right, this is incredible. I walked in, it was a soiree where you give, I used to call them intimate evenings, right, which sounds a bit dodgy to be fair, but intimate evenings, turned up with this most stunning, luxurious, right, farmhouse, and I was getting really angry. I was walking towards it, and I just thought I'd really wished I'd noted how angry I was getting, because there's no need to get angry. Got in there and promptly vomited in their bin, and they're all sitting there with all their canapes and glasses of champagne, and I've gone, I'm so sorry. And then it turns out, long story short, I'm thinking this place, it stank of sulfur. It was just really bad. Anyway, I stood there. My granddad came in and goes, Nick, they've had a Ouija board here. You cannot work. And I said, of course I can't bloody work. You're joking me. So I've said they've come and sat down in one of their lounges. This is how big the place was. And I said, right, said to the owners, when did you do the Ouija board? I said, I know you've done it because I can feel it in here. This place is just awful. They're all looking at me like I'm mental. And no, we haven't. And so my granddad said, they're lying. They're talking bollocks. Excuse my French. He didn't say that. I said that. And I went, well, my granddad's saying you're talking bollocks. I've not only vomited in their fridge, in their bin, I've told them that they're talking bollocks, and I've only been there 10 minutes. And so in the end, I went, right, well, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to go now, and you can just have a few more canapes because I'm not even going to stand here if I'm being lied to. So I started walking away, and the mate who I was with, who was going to be doing readings as well, she was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I was just raging because it was obviously amplified by whatever was in it. Long story short, they eventually admitted that they all got totally drunk on New Year's Eve and decided to buy this Ouija board off eBay and do this Ouija board. Incredibly, just down the road, a farmer had lost his mind, shot all his family, and then blew his head off, right? So he's wandering around grounded on the earth. They do a Ouija board, and guess who knocks on the door and comes in for a cup of tea? this thing. So then I said, oh my God, it's that room there. And they goes, oh, we wondered why the children won't sleep in it. So they're in camp beds around our bed. So how long's that been going on for? Oh, for about 6-7 months. Actually, it's since we've really been here, isn't it, love? And I'm like, so I sat in the room, and I've never had such a physical well, I have actually, but this was a physical, vitriolic, stinking, horrible energy. This farmer came to me, I could feel his breath on my face. He manifested the smell, this disgusting dried blood smell, breathing, going like that, laughing in my face. And I'm like, oh, really? Oh, I don't think you've met me, have you, mate? And so we had this massive tussle for about half an hour. And then my granddad was there, my guy was there, and we shoved him through this door in the end. And then you get the typical smell of floral essence, which is angelic and cleansing energy. And I smelt that, I thought, blinking lovely. And then I felt light as a feather, and the evening was an absolute corker. And I said to them, if you ever get that balled out again, don't ever come back to me and say you got a problem. So just out of my own, for the children, I phoned about 3 months later and went, no, it's absolutely beautiful. There's no more accidents. There's nothing else blowing up. The kids are back in the room. Thank you so much. I went, no, I said, but I've told you and I've warned you, because people love the magic of it and that, oh, really? But when it's actually in their face, like that podcast, my podcast, they're like, God, if they actually hear it or see it, they'll start pooing their pants. And you're like, wake up, this is real. I don't know what they think they're gonna experience. It's real, and they're like, oh yeah, you saw something, okay. And then when they see it, I've got a poltergeist. What are you talking about? I've got something in the room. Yeah, that's your nan just popping in to say hello. So they've got to keep it real. They've got to just ground themselves. And if they do go up and connect, they will have so much more of an easy communication. Right, I sent something in the room. Who is it? Hello, Dad. Oh my God, thank you for coming. Like I do. And my little babies are still here. The biggest thing I've grieved over, the ones that kept me alive those 5 years, we hear them tapping on the floor. And then the other day, it was so lovely because Mia, she was a big fat dumpling of a Shih Tzu, and she used to go whoomp like a sack of potatoes when she was turning over on my feet. And it happened. And so I looked up to make sure it wasn't Darren, but he was in the lounge. And I was like, oh my goodness, thank you, baby. And that's how you can live. You don't have to go to a medium to connect to your loved ones. You don't have to go to some special guru to connect with the angels. You can do it. That is the truth. We can all do it. You can experience that spiritual connection with your loved ones. You can ease your grief and bereavement by acknowledging the fact they're right next to you. You haven't gone anywhere. They haven't floated off anywhere. They're mostly all sitting, everybody listening now, your loved ones, your pets are sitting next to you. Your angels are there waiting for you to invoke them. It's that simple. And that is the truth that I need to bring to humankind and to our connection in Denver, everywhere. That is the truth of it. It's just so simple. But to bring it to people, it's hard when they just won't have any of it. There's lots of toxic people mixed with the beautiful people. The worst one's TikTok, I think. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, you're rubbish, you're talking BS. And you think, oh, you poor loves, you're gonna have an incarnation where you're just gonna have it so tough. And of course we have tough experiences because we're older souls. And this is something for the listeners as well. An old soul always chooses harder lessons in their soul contract. So you will have harder lessons. And incredibly, Dani, I spoke about you the other day, darling. I think it's in one of my soul school sessions, right? Is that, hello, Rods. Oh, my darling Rods. He's just messaged me to say I'm watching you. Hello, darling, from Australia. Beautiful Rod Bland. He's such an absolute darling. He does Untethered Consciousness, and he runs all of my YouTube and does all the live streams. I love you. And he's sexy as F. Not gonna lie. He does my live streams, and it's 6 a.m. for him, and he just looks so sexy in a black t-shirt. Yes, you do, Rod. Sorry if your wife's listening. Hey ho. It's all right. I'm in UK. I can't jump on him from here. My soul can, though. My soul can. It can actually float across and caress those lovely abs.
Wow.
Anywho, I can't even remember what I was talking about now because I was getting all flustered.
Well, let me get this in, because a while back I asked for questions and a ton came to me, and so let me at least
Oh,
get
God,
one.
yes.
And let me at least get one. And either one of you could answer this one. And this is, how do we
Okay.
know that we're going through an awakening?
Oh my God, everything blows up. Everything blows up. When you're going through an awakening, everything blows up. You are tested to the end of the end of the end, but you're given an opportunity in that to recognize that within us exist all the programs from birth, everything we've told. So if you look at the chakra system, which is a real thing, it is energy points in the body that I believe anchor in the soul. That's just my personal belief, that you will recognize that you're feeling off, you're just, but it's an opportunity to recognize all the triggers that you have. What is the trigger? Where is the trigger? Why is the trigger there? When we're born, the guardians or the parents that look after us, they're anchoring into the root chakra in the body. This is our survival root. This is what roots us in. So the people that look after us and love us, mum, dad, uncles, aunts, grandparents, they are downloading everything that's kept them safe and alive on the planet. But it's a survival mechanism. We get to a point where 0 to 7, we are downloading that stuff. 7 to 14, we're trying to make it work, right? 14 to 21, we're out of here. It's not working. Where every generation that we look at, it's the same story. We always buck against our parents. We always buck against, because we think we know, because each individual has to have their own life. When you are in your ultimate awakening, everything is going to shite. And it has to, because you are made to forcibly look at yourself and your stuff, right? I did a broadcast with you a couple of weeks ago, Jeff,
Yes.
and you titled it Angels, was it Angels Aren't Angels, Aliens? Okay, hang on, let me show
Were
you.
angels and aliens the same thing or something?
Right.
Or were
So
aliens
this is my book,
demons?
Angels, Aliens, Aliens. I have physically met in real life, in person, these beings. They're not in my mind. I didn't make them up. I'm not a fantasist. That's why I step onto the platform on the world and share my stuff from my heart to yours, to help people, to say, hey, I've seen them too, darling. I've seen them too. They're real. Now, when we have all these programs in us and they get triggered, and then we're in between fight, flight, death or life, because we're so hardwired to believe if we step outside of a religion, we're going to die, we're going to go to hell, we're going to be judged. Okay, none of that's true. The judgy bit's there though. I bet there's like 30 people in the live chat or comments that have gone because they are the fearful cowards. They are the bullies. And shame on you, you little buggers. They're so unkind, they're so cruel, but they're so wounded, they're so hurt, they're so angry, they're so rageful. They haven't taken time to heal that beautiful baby in them, that inner child in them. So they have to attack out. When we're in an awakening moment, everything goes to hell. And it is a time to cry, to grieve, to be with self, to look at what you have done right, what you believe in, what feels good to you, and what doesn't feel good to you. The people you've been around, your friendships, they start to fall apart in an awakening. Families start to come at you in an awakening. Are you going to live your life to please? Or are you going to look at yourself and go, do you know what? That doesn't work for me anymore. The very basic essence of that lovely question is so important. How do you know you're in an awakening? By the ways I just said. Nikki.
And leading on from that, once you've started identifying the shadows within self, and once you start identifying all of the things that you feel aren't right for you, this is why you lose friends, because you suddenly grow and you see the truth of your being, you see the truth of your circumstances, you start analysing relationships, realising that they're unhealthy or they're toxic, and you start getting this immense feeling of self-love and self-belief. And so you go through these transitions, which I call tower moments, from obviously, you know, the tarot. And mine was 5 years in bed with myself, homeless, with my 2 dogs, my 2 dustbin bags. Hence why I did the book, Me, Myself and I, because I literally had nothing. I had to face all of my demons. I was mostly one of the most famous mediums on the planet, touring with Colin Fry, just about to do the most magnificent things ever. And then they crashed me in this car. And I'm like, what's all that about? Because I hated myself. I wasn't living what I was preaching and teaching, right? Because of abuse in my childhood and because of various things that happened, I felt I wasn't worthy. I was a people pleaser. And I was completely exhausting myself, serving everybody else but me. And so part of the awakening is realizing that and thinking, wow, I'm this most special human being with the most wonderful things going on. I've just got to eradicate all these belief systems and old habits. Once you've done that, the magic that you open yourself up to is the second stage of the awakening, where you suddenly start seeing synchronicity and signs. You suddenly get the most insightful ideas. You know, you could be very much aware like I am, but you don't have to be. Whispers of inspiration, whispers of creativity, and you do something and it turns to abundance and goldness, and turn left here and then you meet your soulmate, join this meeting, and you start walking this path where the universe just throws everything in front of you. Just like, as I said, only last year, I can't believe I had 15,000 followers last year. I literally was working, and I got to the stage where I thought, what am I doing? Nobody's listening to me. And I used to say to you, Jeff, didn't I? What am I doing wrong? Why am I not getting anybody? I was getting 100 views.
Yeah.
200 views, and I've been doing it for 12 years. The angel realms, guides, do this, do that, and I followed everything they did, and I got on that beach and went, enough. I need to obviously have people around me, and they can't do things for free. I need to reach more people. You need to start sorting this out, because I can't even afford to live. And we'll go right back to the mere ashes thing. Boom, it happened. So I almost wasn't expecting it, but I did expect how big it went so quickly, right? But then suddenly I realized, of course, you manifested this house, you manifested your soulmate. I never for a million years thought I deserved a soulmate until my awakening. And then so once you go through digging out all of this stuff that has been indoctrinated into you by your parents, peers, self-belief systems, you know, nurture and nature and all that kind of stuff, the beauty of how you then lead your life, the gratitude, the humility, the benevolence, it just flows out of you. Yes, you have bad days. Look at me at the beginning of this. I was having a pony. I called it having a pony. I was like, I literally was emailing my own link to myself on every single email I've ever had. Nothing came up. It wasn't in the spam, and I was losing my shit. I'm not going to lie. And then I just went, angels, for goodness sake. And then I just thought, I'm going to have to use my phone now. Whatever, you know, whatever happened, I'm now sitting here in my bedroom on the phone like a bloody TikToker, right? Not all professional like you, Dani. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, you get through that. If you get, so, you know, it's things like if you get a bill for something, that's okay. It's a speck. It is a tiny little material base chakra, little speck of insignificance that is going to pass. It's going to be sorted. It's going to be done. The money will come to me. I can cover this bill. I really don't care, because I'm an immortal soul that could have potentially been around for millions of years. And I really don't care about this bill. And once you get to that stage of awakening where material aspects, people, right? And we'll go back to what Dani was saying earlier about, you know, I used to be so wounded in my old life. I mean, before my road accident, if anybody ever said anything negative about me, one person sent a complaint in once, and it's very rare because we didn't have all these keyboard warriors back then, you know, in the mid 2000s. It was 2006, around that area, 2009, and on that kind of age. And she wrote in and said, Nikki obviously cheated and Googled people that were in the audience, because there's no way she could have known that. Now, I'd go, oh, darling, thank you very much. What a compliment. God bless you. Right. And I sat there and went, oh my God, what do these people, do they think I've Googled it? Do they think I've Googled it? Do you honestly think? And I was sitting there fretting about it with my friends for hours. And I look back at those things and think, really? And even when I read back in my book now and then, just to show growth, and this is why it's so vital to have soul journals, right? To write down your development, your meditations, your dreams, your state of being, your emotional status. Check in with your inner child all the time, right? And I always have a photo of me as a child to remind me that my child is still there. I need to nurture it, love it, bring it water, food, shelter in an emotional, spiritual way. And I always maintain my inner being at being calm. I speak my truth. And if people don't like it, that is tough shit. It's exactly what Dani's saying. So it's not us being big and bolshy. It's that we believe in ourselves. We connect with self. We connect with our inner child. We protect our inner child. We don't allow ourselves to be abused or be exposed to abusive people anymore. Yeah, I had a running line of being with the worst possible humans on the planet. You know, the partners I chose, because of this self-belief system, what I felt I deserved was the problem. And so now, by bringing this reality to people, by saying you can have whatever you want on the planet, you can create your reality, you can go into a quantum space, or you can go into God knows all the other type of spaces and find where your soul's been. You can find your previous lives. You can go up and see your nan and have a cup of tea in heaven. You can do this all. And when you reach that awakening, after you've got rid of all the crap, it is nothing but, oh, wow. Still now, nothing ever surprises me. I'm sorry, nothing ever stops surprising me. Sorry. I've been seeing it since I was a child. I've been seeing the door to heaven since I was about 3 or 4. And even now, sometimes I will literally do something and they give me a sign and I'm still go, wow. How did you do that so quickly? How did you create that? Like the wow factor of you and Alex and you, Dani, just listening to the universe, and the universe said it's time for you to reach out to Nikki because she needs to be an integral part of everything that's going on with this movement, or this huge movement, and going forward towards the truth. And it's just, it's mind blowing how things just happen. And
Yeah.
it is to me still now. So for all the new people that are reaching their awakening stages, just let the magic in. Get rid of the crap. Work on yourself. And this is why I do all of these soul schools, the Prism Living calls. This is why Dani does all of hers. This is why we sit for hours and days, months writing books to show you this is the reality. This is who you can be. And it doesn't take a lot of work. You know, there's some people online that say, oh, you've got to do this every day. You've got to affirm this for a whole year and blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's really quite easy. You've just got to start digging out what you're trying to lock away and hide and carry with burden. Get rid of it. Have the courage to move forward away from the people that are toxic, that are dragging you, draining you, whatever you want to call it. Move forward and just step into your own inner power. And the rest of it is magnificent. And of course, it's not all flower and roses. Of course it's not. But you can deal with it. That little bill, whatever. I'm 1,000 years old. I don't care about a bill. Crack on, because I know the angels will provide it, you know, and that's how you live. And as I say, things do get you down, things do frustrate you, but you see the bigger picture. You see the end goal. You see how much you've gone through in previous lives, how much your soul is so, you know, you can't get rid of your soul. It's just this wonderful being of sentience and strength, and it can connect with all these wonderful different celestial layers. So don't worry, don't sweat it. Don't allow things down here to create your downfall. Don't let people create your downfall. Relationships, work. Don't like it, move. Because, you know, I was forced into changing my life, losing my home, losing everything I had, being in horrific debt because he stole all my money, blah, 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 blah. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me. You know, I want you to all ask yourselves now, darlings, right? Just sit there. When was the last time you sat and thought, my goodness, listen to that bird song? How lucky am I to be in the presence of something that's so old? An ancient dinosaur is sitting here bringing bird song and sending me that sound frequency to make me feel good. When did you last do that? Look at that leaf suddenly sprouting from that plant. The wonder of nature. It knows it has to die to then rebirth and create new seeds, new twigs, new branches. It knows it has to die to then grow again. And nature is the biggest learning curve. The biggest guide on this earth plane is Mother Gaia, the cycles of nature. Just watch it. It knows. It doesn't say, oh no, I'm going to die. Oh no. It doesn't see that. It sees the rebirth in spring and knows that it's got to eradicate all the dead wood and all the crap and lose all the stuff that's already grown that time to recreate this wonderful new rebirth. They know that it has to drop all of them, shed all this crap to then continue growing, nourishing, nurturing, blossoming. It's, you know, it's just look at nature. That is what it's all about. And then everybody says, the next question, I don't know if I'm psychically hearing this from thousands of people, but the next question is, what's the point? The point is all about soul ascension. You know, people have got to think out the box. The times I say about people agreeing to soul contracts, well, I didn't agree for my husband to leave me. What are you talking about? They're thinking as a little tiny human in one tiny incarnation in what could have been thousands of incarnations. Think out the box. You know, think of the greater picture. And this is what we need to be doing. You know, I miss my baby so much. I go, well, hang on a minute, Nikki, what are you talking about? Just go up and see him. Oh, yeah. So then I had listened to my own guided meditations, visiting pets in heaven, whack it on, lay back, and then I go up and play with them for half hour. You know, and I just, sometimes your human ecosystem cages you into these belief systems and limits the possibility of your soul and your sentience and your whole presence on the planet and in the universe. And now and then it even happens to the best of us and me. And I think, what are you doing, you donut? So I just say, right, I'll go up there and then I go and play with them. And then they will, because when you're awakened, there's always a time, and I'm going to quickly, I mentioned this to you, Jeff, once in one of our connections before. They will always bring something that proves they were there. So what happened was, the last time that I went and saw Mia and Teddy, I literally said, oh, darling, let me know it was really you. I'm sorry, I really shouldn't say that. And I felt really awful. And then when I came round, it was, I don't know, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And when I looked up at my clock in the room, it was 9:05. And I thought, that's odd. It was working before I went on the meditation. And then a little voice just said, Mummy, that's when I used to bark at the spirit people that visited. And I'm like, oh, yes, it's Mia's time. And literally the clock just stopped. And I couldn't wait for Darren to get back that evening to say, look where the clock stopped, because it's just incredible. And then I just shook it and it started ticking again. And at 9:05, and I even recorded it and put it on YouTube and TikTok, 9:05 on the dot, she would be in the hall barking away at spirit people walking past and coming in and checking. 9:05 is her time. So, and this is another thing for people, right? When you, because this would be the next question, how do I know that really happened? Am I making it up? Biggest question every student has ever asked me in the whole of the universe, but it's the same for you, Dan, right? You literally get these people that say, yeah, but how do I know if I'm making it up? How is my imagination? Da, 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 da. So I remember after my mum passed, I literally was just going to meditation, just a cleansing one. I just was going to do my chakra points. That's all I was going to do. Had no intention at all. Suddenly I'm sitting at a table. Mum's going, hello, darling. And she looked magnificent. My mum was an alcoholic. She smoked. She literally lost her soul when my dad died. Really, bless her. And she looked magnificent. And I thought, am I wanting to see that because of, you know, me to comfort myself? So then my dad came and said, come on, we're getting out of here. So he pulled me through all of these spirit people that were trying to talk to me. He goes, no, like bodyguard. Right, Kevin Costner, my dad was. And he walks out and he's walking along. He goes, oh, God. So I went, what? Typical East Ender. He goes, this is not bloody good, is it? So I said, what? He goes, you don't even believe you're here, do you? I went, no. He goes, no, I can feel your energy. You're thinking that you're making up that mum looks so good. He went, oh, for God's sake. And of all places, it was Hastings, it looked like. It was all like in the UK. It's like these beautiful Victorian buildings on this beachfront, right? He goes, excuse me, mate. Can you come here? And this is lovely tall guy, very handsome man, comes over and he goes, look, my daughter thinks she's making this up because her mum's just passed, right? So he said, can you just give us some information so she can like Google it later? So he goes, oh yeah, okay. He goes, I was a musician at the Stockton Hall. And he said it's Stockton Growers Hall. Do you remember this story, Jeff? Stockton Growers in California. And I thought that's a really unusual name because that's not like Station Road or, you know, High Street or Freeway or whatever. So he goes, I was Stockton Growers Hall. Google it. I was a musician and you'll see a photograph of me in the hall in California. Right. So I thought, don't forget it. So I sat with my dad for like most of about an hour, came back out of the meditation, Googled it, and it was there. And he was one of the musicians that used to play in a band. It was the resident band that used to play in Stockton Hall in Stockton Growers, which was the name of this town, which was random because it's not, a very common name. Stockton Growers, and it exists in California now. And incredibly, I was absolutely gutted because I did regurgitate this story for another time, because a student kept saying, oh, I don't know if I'm making it up or not. And when I actually went to Google it, it burnt down a couple of years ago. So all those wonderful photographs I'd seen initially, I don't know where they've gone, but it all burnt down. But it actually exists, Stockton Growers Hall. And so, they do things like that when we worry that, are we making it up? Are we not? And again, in this awakening process where your consciousness becomes so enlarged and so much aware of every sentient energy going on, you'll get those synchronicities. They will understand and know that it's a bit rough down here sometimes. So they will bring proof to you as well, which will be mind-blowing proof. Synchronicity in signs, they will do it all the time. Feathers dropping down right in front of you or landing on you, coming from the ceiling, I've had before. And
you remember one of our last podcast together, something behind you just fell down while you were speaking. Do you remember that one?
See, this is what Dani was talking about. They're actually creating real phenomena, and it's happening more and more every single interview I do. Something happens, right? One of them, I said, oh, someone's just walked past called Howard, and I said, he's got a golf cap on. She went, my grandpa's Howard, and he was a golfer. I'm like, oh, he's just saying hello anyway, right? And I'm thinking, get in, because literally, it's proof. Now that hummingbird, oh my goodness, Dani, do you remember the lady that bought us those stunning hummingbirds beads? The beaded hummingbirds. Did you get one? Yeah, right. So I had that because I've got my GSIC badge and everything. Oh my God, I just love it so much. Right. So, and I've got a picture of you and an altar. I'm joking. Right. So I had the hummingbirds, and it literally was stuck on. And then there's a huge amethyst stone on top of it, weighs a ton, right? Weighs a ton. So anyway, what happens is I hear a live while I'm talking to Jeff, and it disappears, right? And I'm like, what the hell was that? So it was, everybody was excited. Wow, 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 wow. The most incredible thing is, Jeff, and I don't know if I can't remember if I emailed you or let you know, it went missing for 3 weeks. I think it was about 3 weeks. And then I walked into the office one day and it was just sitting there next to the chair, right in the middle of the room. And I'm like, you are good, you are. So someone actually asported it. They picked it up, kept it, and then bought it back again 3 weeks later. And so if you look on, I do a video saying the hummingbird's back. I just couldn't believe it. It was just, and so, I think, hang on a minute. So I do have someone that comes and does my cleaning, because again, it's something I can't do as my body hurts. And so my friend come in, and I said, can I just ask you something? I said, you've got to be totally, totally honest with me. So I said, can you tell me if you have picked up the hummingbird, kept it, and then thought, oh, I'll put that back there? She went, absolutely not. Absolutely 100% not. She goes, I'm not being funny. I don't really go in that room because there's, you've got so much precious stuff in there. She's a bit clumsy, love her art. And she goes, I don't want to break any of your crystals. She goes, literally, if I need to do a bit of dusting or hoovering, she goes, but I haven't been in there, Nick, at all. She goes, you told me not to go in there last time because you had loads of Darren stuff there. So I went, no, that's absolutely fine. I'm just making sure, absolutely, there's no way whatsoever that could have physically happened. Paranormal, totally, supernatural, whatever you want to call it. And it happened with me talking to Jeff, Dani. It was just perfection. It just flew across, banged on the floor, but there was nothing there. Completely disappeared. So I'm thinking, because we're talking, I'll get it later, and then I'll say, hey, I found it. It absolutely gone. I was on all fours, looked under the desk, everywhere. It wasn't there. So what an incredible thing to do live. And they do it more and more. But this business happens every time. Don't get that. I still haven't got any emails for the link. And it just wasn't working. Nothing was happening. It's just that of energy of everybody coming in going, okay, we're going to say this to you, we're going to say that. And obviously there's energy around us, and it just cuts everything out. It cuts everything off. I don't know if you ever get that, Dani, do you? When it's just suddenly things go, or you get an energy surge and things go.
Yeah, but Yeah, we can also block stuff ourselves. Our electromagnetic field gets so overcharged and we get so nervous and anxious. We can actually, like, things get discordant. But I wanted to,
Yeah.
I know that we've been on nearly 2 hours. It's like nearly 3 o'clock in the morning in England for us.
Wow, is
And
it?
I wanted to, yeah, but I wanted to, again, on the element of physical evidence for people, I wanted to share a quick story because that's obviously what we're, partly what we're here to do. Years ago when I would call them psychic parties. So I would go to houses in England or America where I lived for a long time, and there'd be like maybe 15, 20 women, mostly women, some men. And then I would do like 15-minute one-to-one readings as a clairvoyant medium. And I'll never forget, in terms of physical evidence, one time this lady came, she was 80 years old. And she came and sat down, and she was really quite closed. And as Nikki knows, we don't want those people. If you're going to come and you're going to be all like, please go away. Just please go away. Let the person behind you come, and so we can bring them love. If you're going to be all blocked and all judgy, please, you're not going to have a good time. And
You sound like Sharon Osbourne then.
Yeah. So
sorry, go on.
this lady comes in and she sits in front of me, and lovely older lady. She had the proper like curly grey, the grey brigade, the old-fashioned old lady haircut and glasses and stuff, and sat down. And I looked at her, and not everybody would I touch, but some people, and I took her hands just so I could link in with her energy, and she was okay with that. And then all of a sudden, the table went up and down. And I literally had to look under the table because I swear to holy God, a giant dog had come in and moved the table and put it down.
Fantastic.
The lady's looking at me and she's like, oh my God. And I said, did you have a Great Dane? She said, oh my God, yes, it was the love of my life. I said, well, he just lifted the bloody table. And she was like, all right. It was fantastic. Then her mother came in. Now, Nikki, I don't know when you get a beloved come in, but for me, when a beloved person that's crossed comes in, it's normally on this side at a certain level, as in a certain height, no matter how tall they are. And then her mother comes in and she shows me the death moment. And so I got to tell this lady, I said, when your mother was passing, you were with her in the hospital, weren't you? And the lady burst into tears, bless her, crying, crying, crying. And I said, she needs you to know that you saw her eyes and it frightened you. And she went, yes, it's my fault. I said, let me finish, please. And I said, your mum is showing me that her eyes were like this and horrified and rolling, and you blamed yourself. She said, yes. And this lady, and she broke down. And so I went around the other side of the table, which Nikki knows there are certain protocols when you're doing a reading, but sometimes you just hold someone. So I held this lady, and she was 80, Jeff, 80 plus. And since she'd been in her early 50s, she'd been torturing herself because she'd asked for extra medicine to help her mother, who was in pain. Her mother passed, but what she wasn't told, and what so many of you watching are never told, when the spirit leaves the body breaks down, and all kinds of mechanics are happening. There's spasming, there's noises, there's eye flashes, there's jitters. And the humans living, watching their beloveds cross or die the death journey, they convince themselves they've done something terrible. And this lady in her 80s had literally had her life ruined, Jeff, by this terrible guilt she carried. And until she sat in front of me, and first her beloved animal physically came, physical evidence, bumping up the table, for me to go, bloody hell, what the hell was that? And then for her mother to come in and me to say, it was not your fault. And her mother had been trying to get to her for so long. And it took the beautiful, how honored was I to be able to say to her, listen, this is what happened. And she sobbed and she sobbed and she sobbed. And I remember from that one reading that I would, at every opportunity, tell that story. So others that have thought, I killed my mom, I killed my dad, I harmed my child, I did this, I did that. No, we deserve to know from the medical industry the reality of when somebody passes and what happens inside the physical human body. It's really, really important. That's what
absolutely,
I wanted to share.
because That's absolutely beautiful. And,
Yeah.
you know, I totally get that. Then this is what it sometimes rolls me when people say you prey on the vulnerable and you do this and you do that. We don't, they come to us. But we bring years of healing to years of trauma, if you like, to a halt. And exactly, very quick story was the same. And my goodness, it was travelers, Romany travelers. They were lovely people, but were very, let's see if she's any good. And they'd booked me out in this hall in Kent. And it was a very hard energy to begin with because they were kind of like, you know, a bit like this. I'm like, oh my God. So I walked in anyway, this lady was there. And now and then, you know, I think they all want a particular person to come through. Long story short, this lady was sitting there and she was a bit like this. Now that normally means to me someone's really hurting and really grieving. I used to think when I first started out, this was arseholey, but really it was someone like, don't do this. Do I want it? Do I not? Anyway, her nan came through first of all. No, sorry, but no, it was her nan. And so I knew, I don't know about you, Danny, but you know there's a nugget that they're waiting for. But I knew this wasn't who she wanted to hear from, really. You shouldn't order from the divine, but I just felt, no, there's something else here. So anyway, nan come through and I'm going to make the names up. So I said, oh, her name's Rose. And she goes, oh my God, yeah. She goes, but she's not here to talk to you. She's here all the time and loves you very much. Did you hear that then? Something's just flown off the sideboard in the kitchen. So basically she said, right, and she goes, the reason I'm here is to just relax you. Do not panic, do not get upset, but your little Jasmine's here. And everybody in the whole audience went, oh my God. And she's going, no, no, no. I said, look, just hang on a minute, just calm yourself down, darling. But I'm thinking, what have I done here? What have I done? And the nan's going, trust me, it's okay. And so what had happened was, can you imagine this woman living all of her adult life with this? She basically had little Jasmine, which was, I think she was about 8 or 9 months old. She put her in the back seat of the car. And this lovely little Jasmine said, Mummy, I was wearing my daisy coat. And we were in the red car, weren't we? And literally, she thought she had clicked the seatbelt in, shut the door, and then a van from behind smashed into the car. You can imagine what happened. The baby passed because she wasn't properly buckled in. Can you even contemplate, as a mum, what guilt she went through? I killed my baby. And because of that, she then believed that she should kill herself to, you know, sacrifice herself for the fact that she killed a baby. And there was, you could hear a pin drop. How I held it together, I will never know, because I broke down afterwards with her, right? Because you just, how can you not? But thank God they held me together while this tiny little soul, but back there, most probably hundreds of years old, said, Mummy, I can't bear you to keep thinking that you want to come back to me. I'm here. I love you. These are the signs I bring you. This is me telling you it was not your fault. It's part of what I wanted to experience. And it was never, ever your fault. Please don't put me through any more pain. She's not really in pain, but I can see what she was trying to say. Don't put me any more pain seeing your tears and wanting to hurt yourself. I'm happy with Nanny, Mummy. And then she gave her evidence of what had happened in the last couple of days. And she said, I am the butterfly that lands on you. And they're all going, oh, and she showed me all these photos. And in that tiny little frame of 20 minutes, the whole of her life had been healed. Because from then on, I spoke to her husband about a month later. How's she doing? She goes, she's just literally saying now she wants to come off antidepressants. She knows her baby's safe in heaven because she thought she'd be in purgatory or hell because she killed her, and the Catholics say this and that. And he said she suddenly got a smile on her face. And there's this big lofty like traveller man crying his eyes out, saying, I can't even tell you I can't even tell you what you've brought to my family. And it was the most stunningly powerful story of a woman that literally found a reason to live again. And now she's a really big spiritualist. She's like really massive in all of it. And she like talks to her daughter now, and it's just beautiful. And we did that in 20 minutes, and you did it, Dani, as well. That poor lady, all that time. And it's happened loads of times for us, hasn't it? If you think about everybody we've brought that healing to, and yet, you know, society, even still now, there's this like subliminal witch hunt of, yeah, you know, they read your mind, or they Google you, or they do this and they do that. But things like that, they're the things that keep me going. When you heal someone of years of pain and trauma and anger by just bringing the evidence from the spirit world, from their daughter that is still very light, very much alive, very much sentient, very much sitting on a mum's lap. And I was there yesterday when you spoke to Jamie and told him off because he broke his train, mummy. She's like, yes, that happened. And then her mum was next to her going, oh my God, I was there. That's right, that's right, that's right. You know, and when you bring things like that to someone, it's just totally magical, isn't it? It's totally magical, and it changes their life forever. And that's what we need to be showing the people out there. That's what we need to be telling them. And that's why we do our books, isn't it, darling? Because it is true what we're writing in them. It's complete 100% truth. And I just wish we had more, you know, like the publishing houses and things like that. They really should be jumping on board with this kind of stuff now and really pushing it out there so that people realise.
Nikki, the wrong people have been in charge for too long. The wrong people have been controlling the reality of this beautiful life. The wrong people have been shutting things down, but now we're seeing them be stepped down. They had to be stepped down because they were never going to go away. And now the reality is coming out. So people are getting more confident and, you know, coming to conferences like Galactic Spiritual Informers, seeing these beautiful people with verified physical evidence of the ETs, the beautiful benevolent ETs, the life on other planets. The fact that the American military, the fact that there are 42 countries around the world who recently signed accords, some known as the Artemis Accords, admitting they have space fleets in their countries to defend their country. And those space fleets are taking flight. I will name the French one. The French spacecraft is called the Solaris. You're about to get Jean-Charles Moyen on your channel. Jack,
Yes.
I met him the other day, my beautiful brother.
Oh, brilliant.
Unbelievable. Jean-Charles Moyen is blowing up the world. He's a filmmaker from his experiences off planet. He's in the French military. He's been on the spacecraft called the Solaris. The Solaris leaves. I was in the space industry for years. Here is lower Earth. Here's the Earth's atmosphere. You have lower orbit, you have middle orbit, and you have what is called geostationary orbit. This orbit, the third orbit, is where we launch our satellites, where our telecommunications, our broadcast systems are. The Solaris, the French craft, goes up and docks onto a gigantic mothership. Guess what that's called? That's called the Solar Warden, in which there are many craft of the Solar Warden. And guess where the Solar Warden resides, everyone? America. America run the Solar Warden. The world does recognize America, not the tosspots running it, but this is beyond and before them. The Solar Warden is the beautiful space fleet, and the French Solaris craft docks on. And so look up Artemis Accords and know that there are 42 countries that have signed. It is all coming out. We've had spacecraft for a very long time. What I will say on that, half the spacecraft that you witness in the sky, do not call it a UAP. That is a mind control program. It's a bloody UFO, and it always was. When you allow yourself to modernize in the moment without proof, modernize up, you're being mind controlled by the government. I know it's annoying, but I've got to tell you the truth. It's a UFO. Half of the unidentified flying objects that you see are American, or they are straightforward military reverse engineered craft, my love. So not every spacecraft you see in the sky is flown by aliens. They're flown by humans.
That's true. What did you make of the 9 pillars of light in Japan a couple of weeks ago?
I didn't really see that. I saw an image of it, but
I haven't seen it either.
got to remember though that the I don't know what's the worst word, the neptards, nepotism retardos, the people that have been running our planet, they've had these projects, Project Bluebeam. They're trying to. It's so funny. Alex Collier, who will be there at the conference, guys, all 3 days. The great Andromedan Alex Collier is going to be there hanging out. He's not speaking because he retired, and we gave him a beautiful Lifetime Achievement Award in 2022, but he's coming. He'll be there. You'll get to meet him, take pictures with him, and ask him all about his connection to Andromeda. But he sent me one time, went, Dani, look at this. And it was a gigantic jumping Jesus. There was a huge Jesus up in the sky. Like
Wow.
people jumping. It was literally a pretend Jesus up in the sky, and it was malfunctioning. They're trying to get his robe to come out, and it was all like this in the sky. And Alex got a copy of it from somebody in the military who was like, "Oh my God, look what they're trying to do." It was pathetic. But here's something else for people to think about. You got to look at Elon Musk, right? Now, if you look at the Skynet. Okay, I'm going to jump a bit here. Elon Musk has been throwing up all these satellites. Yeah, they're quite small. They're all linked together. You can see them sometimes as they're going up. They're all in a line. Dot, 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 dot. What's been happening is all these satellites going up here over geostationary orbit. Remember, we've got lower orbit, middle orbit, geostationary orbit, where all the satellites launched. They have created now what is known as a Skynet. All the satellites linked together. Okay, what does that mean? In brief, you now have the biggest projector in the sky ever. Never, ever. So now they can, right? Hello, ding, 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 ding. This is what has been happening. So you have to be aware, half the craft in the sky are not UFOs, and they are not bloody UAPs. Underwater aerial phenomena, sir. Anyway, UFOs, right? Military, right? Go ahead.
I just can't believe this. I cannot believe this, because you know when the Northern Lights phenomena was going on, all the rest of it, and a lot of people said to me, "Oh, have you asked like the angel realms, or have you asked the source or whatever?" And when I went in, right, and I said, "Look, what's going on with all of the stuff that's being shown?" They said some of it is our galactic friends, others aren't. And I swear, as I stand here, I said it in one of my the prophecy and prediction videos, right, on YouTube. I've already done it, it's already said. I said what I saw loads of different sources of, I didn't call them satellites, I didn't know what they were, projecting and creating grid lines of a globe, like, you know, the Truman Show,
Yes.
or the Hunger Games. I saw that. They showed me that. They showed me like this grid going around exactly as you just described it, Dani. And this is how we all start learning from each other, because I say things to like Dani, and I spoke with Elena, Christiane, Brad Olsen, I spoke with all of them, like, oh, but I said, "Oh, I've seen that. I know what you're talking about." And then you go, "Yeah, I've seen that as well." And you literally, all of this networking brings power, knowledge, truth, and you start realizing that what you're seeing, other people are seeing, and that you're all validating it for each other. And that's exactly what I saw. It was just grids of like this screen over the planet. I couldn't believe it. And so they said some are phenomena that is created by the galactics and some aren't. And so they woke me up in the middle of the night. They keep doing this. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, to be fair, but I don't mind, because it's they literally give me news as it's happening, just before it's going to happen. And they said, "We've created our friends have come down in Japan." I don't even know what that means, and I just couldn't be bothered. I didn't put it up anywhere. And then I thought, oh, I'll put it in one of my videos and schedule it for later. And that following night, you had the 9 pillars of light in Japan that hundreds of thousands of people saw. So, you know, they said that it was going to be there, so that's fine. But when I saw that net you're talking about, it literally is just like it's like a projector of, I don't know, perhaps they'll start projecting the clouds differently now. We've got the chemtrails, we've got the weather warfare going on, you know, and these people go, "Oh yeah, whatever." It's like this, I don't, you know, this contentious issue, but, you know, talking about the jab, right? So, oh no, it's got all this bad stuff. And yeah, whatever, you're stupid. We're going to take it because they've told us it works and we're going to be safe. Now look at it. How quick did that karmic swing come by? Where now they've had to admit it killed people. They've had to ban Seneca. They've had to say it's creative thrombosis. They've had to say, and it's all coming out. Look
Yeah.
how swiftly things are coming
be
out.
careful.
Right. Let me ask you this real quick.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay because we're running out of time, but I want to ask you this.
Oh, yeah, sorry, go on.
Besides getting to see both of you on stage, you're both like paranormal celebrities. So do you do meet and greets or sign books or anything like that as well while you're there?
Yeah.
I'm hosting. I'm actually hosting. And I have there are so many speakers this year. I honestly rounded up what I believe to be the most important speakers at this time on our planet, and they're going to be on that stage. So I couldn't waste, it's 3 days. It's just too many days. Like every year we have different speakers, equally important. They've all been fabulous. Every single year they've been amazing. But you can't have the same speakers every single year. But there has been a core every single year. Elena Danan, Jean-Charles Moyen, Tony Rodriguez, Dr. Michael Sala. This year we have JP standing out. He's coming out for the first time anywhere on the world. And JP is an internal active duty military person who's been given permission by the higher ups in military to come out and speak about the missions that he goes on, which include the spacecraft, grounded spacecraft in America, the solar other spacecraft too, which is his job, JP's job to bring out. I'm not going to say too much here, but it is absolutely the most beautiful conference, full of the most wonderful people who bring receipts. That's what I care about, Jeff. At this stage, bring receipts. Don't tell me a story. Please don't say that you're Odin and you're Enki and you're Ea and you're this and you're all these different people in one body. Mate, you've been busy. You know what I mean? It's just stop, stop. Drop the ego. We've got to awaken. We're awakening, we're connecting. Some people have been, these beings from other, but you can't just say you have. You need to bring the proof and the validation. And if you can't, then you won't be standing on the stage at Galactic Spiritually Formers Connection. So it's really grounding in information, because people need to marry in for themselves and feel for themselves, what do I believe, what feels right for me? But they will feel themselves be seen, the audience, and be heard. And there are people that are getting married, it's the 3rd year. There's people that have met each other, fallen in love. There are people, they're star seeds, they're seeking something. They're the weirdos, the misfits, like I've always been my whole life, the odd ones, the ones that I walk in a room and everyone's demon gets rattled and they hate me. I can't help it.
But they can come and ask. They get a chance to ask questions, don't they? In an audience format, they can meet and greet us. We've got times for it. We've got book signing times where they can have a chat and sign the books. So we mingle about. It's not just you see us on stage and we disappear off. We do mingle about and we do speak with the public and we do photographs and things like that. So it's not like we're kind of here, you're there, and that's it. We are around and about, and it's a whole family coming together, and that's the vibe that I felt. As soon as you go in there, it's like all these lost souls suddenly feel they belong, and they're all connected with this mass common knowledge that they connect in some way, shape or form, and that's the feeling. And that was the feedback I got from honestly, I'm not joking American people, but I know that there are people from Canada and Europe and all over, but the whole essence is come in, you're welcome, we love you, what have you got for us? Not, because there's sometimes, again, I'm not disrespecting UK at all, because every audience I've ever had have been incredible, but there is sometimes an element of being a bit stiff upper lip. But this, let's go, come on, bring it on. And it's just a beautiful vibe. And I believe you're going to be taking it elsewhere as well as the US. Are you not, Dani? You thinking about doing other countries? Because to bring it to other countries is just going to be incredible.
Yeah, we're going to Japan in May, but this year we're going to Colorado. And so it's a town called Westminster. The nearest airport is Denver. So you drive out to Westminster and beautiful hotel, and it's in nature. And so the Sky Watch this year, because every year the UFOs have turned up, we've had literal
I couldn't believe that.
audience. Nikki witnessed that the UFOs in the sky. They're there every year. We have senior military, we have Space Force, Space Command in the audience. It is unbelievable because they know the people on stage are telling the bloody truth, you know, and there is a massive movement on our planet for truth. It has to come out now. That's what's happening. It's just so amazing. So at night, we're going to be doing Skywatch, where we're just going to step outside in the communal area. It's really beautiful. You can lay down, you can stand up, you can sit in a chair, doesn't really matter. But the sky expanse is enormous. And we've got people like Jerry Wills. Jerry Wills is a real life, full blood ET. He will be there. Jerry Wills. I sent you his email. I think you're going to get him on your channel. He's somebody you're interested in. Jean-Charles Moyen, the French super soldier from the secret space program. Tony Rodriguez, stolen by a satanic family, put into the military, sent off planet. Oh my God, the work he's doing in remote viewing, it'll be a world first. He's delivering information for the first time ever on the advancement of remote viewing. Elena Danan, a emissary for the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which is not a wishy-washy spiritual, the Galactic Federation of Light. No, it is a military, physical beings like you and me. I'm so over all the wishy-washy, oh, I'm channeling Balili Babalula. Oh, she told me I'm the queen of China. You know, stop it. You know, the spiritual revolution was hijacked, and there's a lot of fantasy that comes in, and bless people. You know, I'm sure I went along with it myself at one point. But I'm so gung-ho in like, we've got to bring proof. Galactic Federation of Worlds are other beings from other parts of our solar system, because if we mess up on our planet, it's going to affect them. They are physical beings, physical humans, and we call them humans. They're not just aliens. No one's ever seen a little green man, by the way. I'll say that again. No one's ever seen a little green man. A little grey man. They smell of fart and sulfur, but they're not on the planet right now. But just as an aside, because it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning here, we need to get to the end. We need to get to the end.
Yeah, but we do.
People, unbelievable. The speakers, unbelievable. So Elena Janam, Alex Colley will be there, Dr. Michael Sala, Dr. Lee Merritt, who came out of the Navy saying, there's something really wrong here. I'm going to tell tales on it. Dr. Christiane Northrup, oh my God. I mean, a veteran, at one point was voted the 12th most trusted doctor on the planet. Now she's a conspiracy theorist because she came out saying, you guys are lying. Medical industry is a bit messed up here. I'm going to tell the truth. And so many other speakers. Melanie Charret. Who else? Help me out here. David Adair. God,
I
like
can't
13.
remember. Just go over to the website and have a look, because all the write-ups are there, aren't they, for all of them?
Well,
and
I
the
put a
fact
link
is,
to...
they've got documents to back it up. You know, it's just incredible. It's just...
Well, in the description, there's links to Nikki's website. There's links to Dani's website, so you can find all of it there. Just look below. Well, before we...
absolutely. And on our YouTube channels, darlings.
That too, yes. And it is I know it's getting late for you guys. We're over time, but before we wrap it up, can you each leave us with a positive message?
Dani, you go first, darling.
I want to say, please, whoever's watching this, know how beautiful you are, how worthy you are, how valuable you are. I don't care what anyone ever told you. From childhood to this moment, from relationships you've had, you are a beautiful, beloved soul living inside a human body. You're having a life, you're living an existence, and it can be and should be so beautiful. And yes, there's bumps, and yes, there's growth. But if you don't look in the mirror and honor yourself and remember that there is an infant in you, there is a child, an inner child in you, and you get to parent that child. And so no matter what abuse you've been through, no matter what trauma you've been through, remember that your healing starts here, and it starts with loving on you and go right back to the inner child. This is, if this is my last message on the planet, I would say to everybody, get hold of that infant inside of you. On my channel this week, on my YouTube, it's Dani Henderson. That's my YouTube channel, Dani Henderson -Jisic. I'm putting something out, or I was interviewed on another channel, and I did some of my healing techniques, spiritual techniques, to help people, because we need the healing techniques right now to get us grounded, to pull us in. And so it's coming out in 2 days, I think. So go across, it's free, of course, on my channel. But there's an inner child in you that deserves you to pick them up as an infant and carry them to this moment, because we are the adults that we were always screaming out for. So I give you my love from my heart to yours, and I hope to see you soon. I hope to see you at the conference.
Dani, how can I follow that? For God's sake, why didn't I go first? And then you could have done your eloquent, sounding like bloody some posh American-y British bird, sounding all gentle and lovely. And then you've got this common bird about to say what she's going to say. My thoughts entirely on everything you've just said there. One of the biggest, I'm going to speak from the heart with my own personal experience of me going through trauma. And the biggest thing that gave me the freedom in this lifetime to accept and receive abundance in every way, shape and form, friendships, relationships, soulmates, everything that I could possibly want to reach you, all began with self-love. If you can learn to love yourself, embrace yourself, just as Dani said about you looking after your inner child, if you can look in the mirror and see every warp and everything else going on there and say, I love you. I think you're the most incredible person and you deserve everything that comes to you. By affirming that and by taking this beautiful journey of self-love, you will create the biggest light around you that will shine and bring nothing but light back to you. What you give out to the universe is what you get back. The more you learn to embrace your absolute inner being with the most cherished, nurtured, nourishing love, you will not step a foot wrong in your life. And if you do, there was always a reason for it, and you will have the beauty to look back and rather than blame yourself and think, what did I do wrong, which I used to do, how did that work out? It always happens to me. You look back and go, wow, thanks for that. That's another beautiful reality that's been brought to me to have a look at, reflect on, and see if I need to take that forward with me or leave it behind. And that, to me, having that amount of self-love literally is the key to everything else on your healing path, to make you feel the most serene with yourself. You stand in your own power and you can make the most beautiful decisions on a mental, emotional, spiritual level as you walk with that love emanating from you. Love is, the word is so underestimated. It is the connection to all of the other realms. It's a connection to the spirit world. It's connection to the people around you. Without health and love, they're the only two things that matter in this world. And you have to make sure it starts here. Biggest problem with empaths is they want to serve everybody else and make everybody else's life bright and wonderful. But that old saying, it starts here, is so true. Love yourself and the rest will follow.
Well, ladies, thank you so much. You both were amazing. And I am like one of the luckiest people in the world because for my job, I get to talk to amazing people like you every day. So thank you so much for coming on and being my guest.
Right back at you, baby. Right back.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I can't believe, as a go. And we're sitting here now. It's just incredible. God bless the universe, the angels, and everybody in it that's brought us in this wonderful energy of light tonight. I just have to pinch myself sometimes. Thank you so much, Jeff. And bless you. You're just going to keep roaring along. And you're just going to influence and bring so much light to the planet. You are so important. So bless you for having us here tonight. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry about the beginning. There's about 3 F words, weren't there?
Well, ladies and audience, thank you all. We love you. God bless you and have a great rest of your weekend. Good night.
God bless. Thank you for